Hi everybody, it is Jen Ferguson here with Artistic Painting Studio and welcome to my page. Give me just a second. We're going to make sure that we are live and on the correct page and get a few things done here. Okay, so let me refresh my page. Does look like we're live. Yay, okay. Let me grab this link and I'm going to go send out some text messages and also go post on our Foil Everything group, okay? So happy Friday, everybody. We made it. We made it through the whole week. And I think I got a great project for you tonight. I'm kind of excited about this. One more thing here to do. We're just about there. Okay, sorry you guys. It always takes me a minute or two to get this done. Just about got it. One more thing. Okay, let's get back to my page now. I get this open, I can see who is here, and I can actually see your comments as well. So thank you guys for hanging out with me. I guess I could lift this. I got some tape guides, okay? I've been kind of playing around with this for the last few minutes, and y'all, okay, I even took this with me when we went into Detroit to go to the game, and brought it with me because I know the restaurants and the casinos are always super cold because they overcompensate, okay? So I was thrilled to be able to rock this the other night. It was so cute. So we've got the back panel done over the shoulder blades, okay? And then we've added the pocket and the button area down the front. So we're really blinging this. Now, my next area that I want to do is I want to try to get like a panel on the back. And I talked about this the other night when we were hanging out about taking the Portia foil pattern and cutting it, okay? So actually cutting it to the design, and not all areas of it end up giving you a nice scalloped edge. So what I thought about doing is just changing my mind completely, going rogue on you guys. And you know, if you had something maybe a little bit smaller that you were trying to do where you could maybe get like a smaller patch going, I think it would still work. I think it's still an option. But for this, I'm going to turn the camera over here so hopefully you guys can see what I'm working on, okay? Make sure I got everything out of the way. Okay, I think you guys can see a center panel here, okay? You got see all my tape guides, okay? So I tried to find what I thought was the center of the jacket, and then I decided how far out I want it to go and maybe how far down. And I don't have to do that whole area. Even looking at this, I'm thinking I might want to bring this up just a little bit more and maybe just do an area in here, which I think would look cool, okay? So my idea is to, okay, see, this will fit within that too. I'm gonna have to get another piece, okay, that'll go full width, okay? But it's to paint on our gel duo and just paint the whole center, but I'm gonna paint the outside edge kind of just rough and try to just get a really uneven edge going, okay? So that when I put this down, I'm just going to put it over the top. I'm going to iron it, and wherever it transfers, it just transfers. That way I don't have to try and scallop all the edges and come up with something that's going to work, okay? Because I started thinking, maybe this is not going to work as well as I had hoped. Yes, Joyce, I'm still in steamy Michigan. We have tonight and tomorrow, and then we are heading across the state over to the sand dunes. And I can't remember the name of the town, but we are going to make it over there. Leah says she finally made the very beginning. Well, great. Thank you so much for hanging out. I know all my times here are just, I'm not on any kind of a schedule. Dan and I were talking about that a little while ago, and I said, you know, I don't think I could ever have any kind of a schedule where, you know, I posted ahead of time, like, okay, you know, hey, everybody, we're going to be live on this, and this date, because I'm telling you, being in this coach, there really is no schedule. Okay, I'm trying to find a brush that I feel is going to do this well. And I know I've got a big area, so I think I'll go for my bigger brush. If you have questions, please feel free to chime in. This could also possibly be done with the spray adhesive, but I was afraid that I would end up with more overspray than I really wanted. So that's why I figured I would go ahead and try it with the gel duo instead, okay? But I do think we could also kind of do something similar with the spray, okay? So I'm just going to grab the spray. But normally, I'm always afraid to have a whole lot of overspray, but I figured if we took paper and put it all the way around the outside edge and then just sprayed on the inside and tried to spray some rough edges, it might work as well. I was in my mind trying to do this a whole bunch of different ways, okay? So the hard thing with this for Alive is it just takes almost an hour for it to dry, and I don't know how quickly this is going to dry or not, but we're just going to give it a heck of a try and see if we can do it and finish this even today, okay? So I'm trying to create a rough edge, but I'm telling you, this flannel moves, okay? So it is kind of challenging to brush on and get the coverage we're looking for, okay? So as I'm doing this, I'm going to share with you one of the things I've done in the past that I think would be really, really good, okay? But I don't have cardboard to do it. So when I'm working on fabric that moves like this, I'm wanting to keep it in position so I'm not having to constantly smooth things out and line things up, is I'll take our repositionable spray adhesive. Okay, this stuff is designed for stencils, and I'll get a smooth piece of cardboard and I spray the cardboard with this. So it makes the cardboard just slightly tacky, and then you can lay your fabric on it, and your fabric will stick to it. So that way I wouldn't be having to continually reposition this, okay? I'm trying to get a guide too about how much product that I'm going to be using here. I'm trying to keep a very uneven edge to the outside, okay? So I don't want perfect type edges, okay? But I think I'm going further than I had wanted to, but we'll just see. But I'm trying to brush outward, because when you brush outward, you get like a fanned effect, and that's what I'm looking for more on the edge. Ew, I wish I had the cardboard trick going here because that would be so much easier, guys, okay? Because I'm going for a big panel here, so. And it's just going to end wherever it ends. Okay, I know I probably have missed Dawn. I have never found a place in Chicago to stay. We're actually just going to store our RV at a friend's house when we leave town because we're going to be flying back for a family vacation. Yeah, I'm going to go camping. Okay, I'm leaving here to go home and go camping, but it is our annual camping trip with the fam bam. So anywhere from probably a minimum of 30 up to like 50 people could show up for our annual trip. So we just want to get back, see family, hang out for a few days. So that is what is happening at this point. So we're really not staying in Chicago. We're going to sleep one night boondocking. And then I think when we get back, we're just going to head a little bit more south because we've got to get down to Nashville, and we've got a convention in Sevierville, Tennessee that we're going to. So we're going to be heading that direction. But it also started getting to where next week is 4th of July. And even when I finally found a couple of places that could possibly work, they were booked. I'm like, okay, my planning has not been great, but oh well. We're going to make it work, okay? Okay, so definitely, if you plan on doing this, you guys, do my trick with the spray adhesive, the repositionable spray adhesive on a smooth piece of cardboard. You will thank me for that trick because it will definitely make this a whole lot easier to do, because nothing would be moving around. It would just be stuck to my cardboard, okay? So make sure you definitely grab a piece of cardboard that is big enough for the surface that you want to work on, and spray the area so that it is all sticky, and it won't take much, okay? So if you've never used the repositionable spray adhesive, that stuff is great for your stencils. Keeps them in position while you're trying to use them. We use it all the time when we're using the fusible spray with our stencils, because it keeps the stencils in position while we're trying to put the other spray over the top. Okay. Yes, it would be wonderful. Okay, I'm just going to stick my finger in here, okay? Yeah. It is tricky doing this without the shirt being stuck to the surface, okay? But we're going to wing it. We're going to try this and just see how it comes out. Okay, I'm going to use up everything that I still have on my plate. I'm trying to kind of make sure that I brush down about the same on each side, okay? It doesn't have to be perfect, but I want to kind of make sure that I'm mimicking about the same area, okay? I feel like I'm a little short over here. This side's not cooperating as well. Okay, I'll catch up on comments here in a second. Now, if this turns out really like my mind's eye is envisioning, I think this is going to be super, super cool, okay? Then again, you know, it could be one of those projects where we went, well, we tried, okay? Okay, I'm going to put my brush in water. You guys, don't forget to do that. You don't want to find your brushes laying around and find them stiff. So always try to remember to get them back into your brush bin. Okay, so let me get caught up here for a second. Let's see. Okay, so we're going to be transferring foil over this area. And if you're new, I'm just going to try to go through some details, okay, about what we're using and what I've already done. So I've already transferred this section, okay, which is over the shoulder, and I used a different pattern, but we are taking one of my transparent designs. So it has a pattern of roses, okay, and it's holographic silver, which you'll be able to see right through to the flannel. So we're not taking away from the flannel, we're just kind of dressing our flannel shirt up. And I figured it'd be really cool to kind of do a back panel. I don't know if I'm going to stop with just foil or if I'm going to even paint on here and just add some hand detail. I'm not sure, okay? This is like one of those projects that you start and it just kind of morphs as it continues to go. So I brushed on just now the Gel Duo adhesive. Okay, this is matte for fabric. It will make it through your washer and dryer. No, I'm sorry, not dryer. It'll make it through the washer, okay? So we're making sure that we're using a fabric-friendly adhesive, fabric-friendly foils, and I'm just going to lay this over a chair right now so that it can dry for a second. While that is drying, I definitely have another project that we are going to start. So let's get you guys moved. Okay, sorry, I keep moving my camera, but we're looking for a good spot to have you watch, okay? So I'm starting with a brand new stainless steel tumbler. We're getting ready to go to a tumbler convention, and I decided, oh, you know what? We probably need a couple more tumblers done because I dropped a bunch of them off back at home. Silly me, okay? So to start with, okay, this is a 24-ounce plump, just in case you wanted to know the size. It is the same size as the one that I've already done. This one was done with our Isabella foil and our shimmering sand glitter, which is such a beautiful combination. This one was fun to create. And first thing that I always do, because they are stainless steel, is to give them a good stain, okay? So you want to sand the stainless steel and you want to sand the whole thing, okay? So I'm only using a 220 grit, nothing too coarse, okay? We're basically wanting to break through any film or residues type stuff that they put on these, keep them looking pretty in stainless steel. So you are going to scratch it up, and then because they have a slight taper to the bottom and the top, you're going to want to go around both of these edges and just make sure that you get that part as well, okay? It just has a slight taper, and if you're just standing from top to bottom, it's hard to get it, okay? But try to make sure that you have all parts sanded. And once you have sanded everything, I forgot one thing, of course. I'm going to grab a couple of paper towels and use just a little bit of our 91% isopropyl alcohol. I missed my spray bottle that's at home, okay? So here I just have to tip a little bit onto a paper towel and then wipe it clean. At home I have a spray bottle and I squirt this thing, okay? So this is what you're going to get off of there, okay? You should have some little bit of what I would call stainless steel dust. And then once you have completely sanded and cleaned, it's super important to keep your hands off of the tumbler, okay? No matter what we think, our hands can have a residue on them, and we definitely can transfer back some of that oils from our hands, okay? So I'm trying to avoid doing that. Okay, next thing we're going to do is grab a brand new container. I haven't even opened this, okay? Because Ashley sent this to me a while ago, and I hadn't needed this color yet. Let's see. Okay, I should have something here. Okay, I'm looking at my tub. Should probably grab a new one. We'll just use the other end. Okay, so this is Bondago white. Okay, so it is the white, and our white is also considered a tint base. So when you open any of your Bondagos, it's going to look like there's a lot of liquid on top. Okay, so that should just look like there's almost water. Make sure that you give this a good stir and bring it all back together. Denise, I'm sure there is a video on that tumbler that I showed you. Thank you so much. It is one of my favorites. I actually kept that one. So many of the ones I make, we just sell when we do our live auctions, but I held on to that one, okay? I don't know if I did it on a Facebook Live or if I did it on a YouTube video, but definitely check back through prior videos and head to our YouTube channel. And while you're there, do us a big favor and hit that subscribe button. We would totally appreciate it. We do load a new video every week. And because Facebook has changed their rules now, and after 30 days, they're deleting all of our live videos. They don't want to store them anymore for us. We're trying to load a couple of those up every week onto our YouTube channel, and we have a special tab for just Facebook Live. So if you're looking for one of the old lives, they're all going to end up back over on YouTube eventually, okay? We think we've caught most of them. I did realize the other day that I think we lost some of our recent ones because, I mean, every 30 days we got to go down and download videos. So it's just a whole nother level of something else to do. Okay, so you see how long I've stirred? Y'all make sure you do this, okay? If you see bubbles, make sure you're getting those stirred in. That's normally some of the liquid that should be mixed back in. And it just takes a minute to do it, okay? We stir this every time we use it, just to make sure that it is back to its full consistency. Let's grab another brush here, okay? We shouldn't need that much. Okay, I'm just going to put some out onto the plate so that I can use it. We're going to set my lid back on there, and then if somebody missed that, okay, it is Bondago, and we have our Bondago in white, canvas white, black, and clear. So depending on what you're working on, it is nice to have a variety of the colors. Clear We use a lot on our hats because most of the time we're working on a hat color that we want to continue to work on and not change. So the clear works great for that. I wanted a white base for this particular tumbler that I'm going to do, so I'm using the white Mondego. Now the white is also considered a tint base, so it's pigmented, but it's not heavily pigmented because you can actually tint this to other colors. So if you're going to be using the Mondego white to do a full base, it normally will take me 2 or 3 coats before I have the opacity that I want underneath my foil. And unfortunately, because I'm working in our RV, I have promised myself I will not bring glitter or epoxy into here. So this one is not going to get any glitter, not unless I finish it up at the tumbler convention, okay? Which I might. We might be able to do that there, and then I can add some glitter. I might be able to actually turn it on some of my friends that are bringing on their turners there, and get it completely done during the convention. Isn't that a great thing? Okay, so I always try to come back and smooth out my brush strokes as much as possible. As I indicated, it's never going to opaque in one coat. It's still going to look kind of streaky, and you can see that stainless steel under it. I'm going to let this sit, and I always let my base coat sit for like 24 hours because I want to make sure that it has not just dried, but it also giving it time to bond to the stainless steel. Okay, we're wanting to work on a surface that really was never meant to be painted, so we got to be a little bit more patient and let things dry longer. Okay. Oh, Denise, it is a little bit of a pain having to move all your content over, okay? Dawn's asking, if you use black Mondego, do you still do multiple coats? No, I don't, because the black Mondego normally opaques in one layer. So if I can get the opacity that I'm looking for in one coat, Dawn, I'm done. Okay, that's why I love the black Mondego. It really does normally completely opaque in one coat. Okay, so let's just make sure. Ooh, there's the Portia. Okay, what's going underneath. Okay, I'm just going to flip over my mat in case I got any extra stuff on there. I think both sides. I think I need to take this outside and just wash it. And let's get our flannel back over here. I'm going to move you guys a little bit again. I've been talking and just trying to let everybody know I'm working on a silicone mat. My silicone mat is safe underneath when I'm ironing, but make sure you do not iron over a vinyl tablecloth. I do always recommend that you have a hard surface that you are ironing on, and we are far from being dry, okay? But was it last night or the day before when I did the pocket? I did the pocket when the adhesive was still a little tacky in places, like here where it still looks a little milky white through this area. And the pocket came out fine. I did have to iron back over one area just to get it to stick a little bit better. Oh darn, my tumbler is almost empty. I guess I should have filled that up first. Okay, so I am going to grab my foil and I'm going to get a new piece, and I'm just going to set this down towards the area that I feel I did paint on the adhesive, okay? And I'm going to cut off, oops, well, I almost didn't have enough for this project, okay? I know I got to stock up some foils here soon. I'm starting to run out of a few of my faves, okay? I used the tape just to kind of give myself a guide of where I wanted to stay in between, but these were just guides. As you saw me brush this on, there's nothing perfect or possibly not even going to be too symmetrical about it, okay? But I figured this was just an easier way to try to accomplish this panel than coming in here and trying to cut the design out, because not all the flowers end with an outside scallop, okay? If you did want to do a bigger panel and you really wanted to scallop some of the foils, what you would have to do is grab enough of this that when you were ready to actually do that, you're going to have to figure out where the repeat is of some of these designs. Did I get lucky? No. Okay, I was thinking I actually got the section here. That's close, okay? But you would have to figure out where the repeat is. You can figure it out, believe me. It just takes forever to find it. There's been times where I've laid this out and I've hunted and hunted and hunted. Okay, I think these are both going the same direction. But it is to the point where you have to, I think the repeat is approximately 3 feet, okay? So then you got to find that section, and then once you find the repeat, you could, I think it overlaps like maybe about a 1/4 inch or so, and you could lay another piece down and scallop so that you could get those full roses, okay? But you're going to have to probably figure out where you're starting on one end, go to the other. You might have to go up, you might have to go down, just to be able to do a real perfect, you know, scalloped edge. Me, I figured, yeah, let's just try this way and see what happens, okay? If you're wanting to speed up the drying, could you use a dryer on a cool setting? You can, but realize that speeding up the drying is always just speeding up the top layer, okay? It's still not going to be dry all the way through. One thing that I have found is the heat of my little iron helps to dry the adhesive, so that I'm going for this when it's not really dry in this one area. I'm just going to have to iron, I think, longer. Okay, so mini press, go for medium heat, don't go all the way to high, okay? High is with all 3 lines, okay? I'm going to undo that, go back to medium. This will turn green and beep when it's ready, so I'm going to just put it right there. For those of you that are not familiar, it is a Cricut mini press, and I will stick a link in here to find the mini press. This is where we have it, so you can find one of these and grab one. They're not just great for doing projects like this, but it's also a really great little mini travel iron, okay? Which is crazy. But yes, it has helped me out on my trip. I can do a little bit of ironing if need be, okay? So, like I said, we definitely have not allowed this to dry as long as I normally would. I want to say that there's probably some areas that might have been at a tack point that were probably okay. The foil is stuck down because it's sticking to the wet, tacky adhesive, okay? And now we're just going to wait for our iron to get all the way warm, and we're going to iron this on. Okay, so when I told you it was ready, it would go green, and now you want to just iron. And the reason why I like to stay at medium heat is because if you go too hot, you'll actually wrinkle the foil, okay? It'll crinkle, wrinkle, and sometimes if you get it too hot, you can actually melt it. Now, if you're using a regular iron and you've never done this before, I am going to recommend that you use parchment paper and that you even just grab either a scrap piece of fabric and a scrap piece of foil, or even if you want to just kind of play around, go by your local thrift store and buy some cheap jeans or a flannel shirt or just something so that you can play, okay? You know, the thrift store might even just have some scrap fabric, or you can go buy even Hobby Lobby or Michael's, I think, also carries some fabric, and you can go maybe to the salvage section where they just have some scraps and grab yourself something to play with. If you've never done foiling on fabric, I do feel like it is super important to play first. Do not grab your favorite flannel and try this if you've never foiled before. You want to experiment, you want to play around, you want to get used to how long you have to iron, how much pressure you should be putting on it, how long to allow your adhesive to dry. And again, I definitely am going on this sooner than I should have. And I'm really, really hoping that I'm on the right side, okay? Now that I'm doing this, I really think I've messed up. And I'm gonna test and just make sure. I think I have it on there right, but let's just double check, okay? There's been times where I have been, oh, good, it is down the right way, okay? So this is a great thing to do, is to make sure that when you are working with the transparent foils, make sure that you have the transfer side facing towards the garment or towards the adhesive, okay? That you don't get this upside down, okay? All of a sudden I was really thinking, oh my gosh, did I do that? Oh, so Denise says she uses this on decoupage. Okay, this is such a great little iron. Okay, so I'm going to continue to iron. I normally like to iron over every section for somewhere between 30 to 60 seconds, okay? Using some pressure. It's not like I'm trying to get a workout here, but definitely wanting to make sure that you are using a little bit of pressure, because basically you're melting the foil transfer to the adhesive, okay, making a permanent bond between those two. And it's important that we have this really well ironed on. If by chance you ironed and you thought you ironed long enough and you let it cool completely off, because all foils are a cool release. Why is this not? I feel like I'm not warm enough. Okay, I'm gonna let that get hot again. Maybe my finger touched it. Okay, I always feel like that button is in such a bad place, because when I'm holding it, my finger goes over in that area. Okay, there we go. But if by chance you started to do your peel and reveal and discovered that some place is not adhered, okay, just lay that foil right back down, iron again. You're not going to be lost, okay? So just don't rip it off like a Band-Aid, okay? Peel back slowly and make sure that you are in love with the way it looks and that you got as much transfer as you had hoped and intended for. And if not, just keep, wow, this just keeps cooling off. I wonder if there's something wrong with my power. Maybe this little baby is already getting too old. Let's go all the way. I don't know why it keeps cooling off. Weird. I've never seen it do that before. Normally it goes green and stays green. Okay, I'm going to make sure I'm sliding fast because I definitely went to the higher setting, okay? Don't tell me I've already ruined this thing. It's not that old. I might be using my own link and getting me another one of these, okay? I feel like it's warm, but not as warm as it should be. Okay, I'm gonna let it heat all the way up. I wonder if the foil's cooling it down because it just doesn't seem to be staying as hot as it usually does. So weird. Mary says, I was watching the Detroit Tigers a few nights ago, and lo and behold, yep, he sure did, Mary. He was playing a really good team, definitely. Some of those hitters got the best of him, but we got another game tonight in New York. Okay, those boys are already in New York City, and there's a game that starts, wow, in an hour. Dang. What happens to these days? Okay, I'm going to try a different plug, y'all, because that's just not heating up like it should, okay? So we're going to give it another try. I'm going to put it on its little holder and see if I can get it to heat up. But thanks, Mary, for catching him. He possibly, let's see, he pitched on Tuesday, so Wednesday, Thursday. He could pitch again tonight. You never know. And it's baseball. Yes, we were at the game. We went to both Tuesday and Thursday's game. Wednesday, we ended up going and staying downtown Detroit. And this is so weird. It's like it's just not getting hot. Dang little thing. I might have to buy another one. I'm not happy. But we got to Detroit too late. I told Tyler, do not buy tickets because I thought we were just going to go ahead and grab whatever was on the open market. And then we discovered the hard way that they quit selling tickets at the time of game. Now, back home, they don't. They sell tickets for at least an hour after the game starts. So we'll just buy last minute cheap seats after the game starts, but we couldn't do that here. So we went to the Hollywood Casino and we sat in the sports book, and they had a couple of huge, okay, see, this is cooling off again. This is really weird. They had a couple of huge screens, so we just sat there and watched the game. We had air conditioning, we had cheap drinks, great food, and just watched. Okay, so I'm gonna let that heat up again. It's definitely got an issue. Okay, I don't know if I've just ruined this thing, if it's just doesn't have that many years of life, but I'm not sure this is gonna be hot enough. Okay, I think I'm even gonna go all the way up. Let's go all the way up. I don't know if it's I've never had the foil cool it off before, but so once you have ironed and you've ironed well enough, okay, and I definitely say make sure your iron is staying at medium heat. If you've never ironed foil before, use a piece of parchment paper, okay? I don't have parchment paper right now, but you can take a piece of parchment paper, put it over the foils and iron on top of the parchment paper. It'll prevent you from scorching the foil if your iron gets too hot. Okay, I'm going to try just to see if I can keep this hot a little bit longer. Iron over on this side. I just feel like I haven't ironed hot long enough. But I've never had this thing. Okay, see, it cooled all the way off again. So weird. Yeah, because it's not. Normally it's so hot I can't put my hand on it. Okay. But once you have ironed, okay, and you know you've ironed it well for a good 60 plus seconds, you saw how I'm constantly moving, let it completely cool off, okay? You want to just get that heat out of there, let the garment cool, because all your foils are always a cool release. You do not want to remove them when they're hot, because they will not work, okay? And I don't think I'm getting hot enough at all. This is just bizarre. It's like after I work on one little area, the iron is just cooling. Okay, that's starting to feel like that's got hot enough. Maybe I'm just going to have to do a small section at a time, because I don't know what on earth is going on with this little thing. But in all my years, it's always stayed green once it heated up. Because we do need that heat. That heat has got to basically melt the transfer film onto the adhesive. Okay, I feel like it's working now. Maybe turning it onto the other plug did work. Okay, so I'm going to keep ironing over this again. Normally you do not have to iron this long, but like I said, something's going weird with my little iron. I guess I've done too much fabric and it's pooping out on me. But I'm really glad to see it cooled off again. Okay, we're gonna let it heat back up. We're just gonna keep letting it heat up and doing this over and over again. Now, Mary, I want to say I probably bought this. I mean, look how new it looks, okay? I mean, I haven't worn the name off. I got a little bit of sticky on here, but I thought, I mean, a couple of years. Yeah, I guess I might need to buy one too. Joyce, I did change it to a different plug, okay? And I can't reach any other plugs in the entire coach, so this one's going to have to do, but it might be that we just have to go buy another one of these. So that link I put into the comments is to my Amazon store, and I am going to probably be having to pick one of these up as well, because it's only staying warm. I'm just keeping, okay, see, it already cooled all the way off. So I'm going to make sure it's hot for every section, okay? Because you really, really need that hot iron. But yep, Joanne, I guess I got to buy myself another present, okay? I'm thinking the next location that we're at, I want to get out and about. I want to go do a little shopping. So I might be shopping for a new iron, as well as I was really hoping to go shop for a couple of new bathing suits. So we'll see. That's not my favorite thing to go and shop for, but I think I only have 3 with me. Yes, I'm a girl who likes 4 or 5, okay? Yep, every time it's just cooling off so quickly, okay? Sorry guys, this should be done by now. Yes, Kathleen, I brushed on at the very beginning of the video the Gel Duo, and I didn't put on a super generous layer, but I felt I put on a nice layer, and I just tried to create rough edges, okay, just kind of like brushing it outward all the way around the edges with my brush. And I let that dry for at least probably only 20-30 minutes before I put the foil on, okay? So it wasn't completely dry like the 45 minutes to an hour that I usually recommend, but I was feeling like it should have been dry enough. Oh, Mary Jo, you are so sweet. Okay, I'm unplugging it. We're going to give it just a second. So does it say to completely let it cool down and try again? I mean, come on, guys. You know when I bought this. It wasn't that long ago. Okay, I'm just seeing if it's how quickly it's cooling off. Yeah, it's still warm, but it's not at the warmth I want. Okay, I'm just going to go back to our plug. I definitely have power. So it's not a power source. I think it's just a malfunction of the mini Cricut. But thank you for Googling that for me. I don't even know if I would have Googled, okay? And we'll just see. Okay, I'm going to keep letting it heat back up. Let's see if we're getting any transfer whatsoever. This might have to be one of those projects where I leave this foil on here. Oops, okay, we are starting to get some. Okay, let me try to also use my toothbrush. Let's see if I can help get us started here. We are getting it. Okay, but I didn't get this corner. So let's see if I can heat that up again. And I don't think I'm getting the edge that I was hoping for. Okay, this might end up being more squared than I'd hoped. But I'm super happy that we are getting some decent release, okay? And I'm just checking this edge as my iron has heated back up again, any place that it did not release already. It stayed warm that time, okay? The bad thing is every time, okay, yeah, we're getting a hit and a miss here. If we can just keep my iron going, we'll be doing good, because we know that it started to release. So I'm just going to try to get this outside edge a little bit more ironed. Seems like it's working, okay? This time. Hopefully it was just a little, oh. Yep, we're gonna need a new one, okay? I don't think no matter what I do, it's only gonna last so long. Okay, I'm gonna try. We don't want that to come off that way. Yeah. We're just going to have to work this a whole lot harder than I want it to. Okay, I said I wanted my outside edge a little rough, so some of that has happened here. And I think I'm just going to go across the top, okay. Definitely getting some areas that are not releasing, but that's okay. Oh, maybe not that far, okay. Okay, now that I did that, okay, I got to be really careful. I can't iron back over this spot that I exposed. We got a little bit more on that corner, okay. So we did get a great transfer, even though my iron was acting up, okay? And I never know how great that I did on this outside edge, so that could just be that I didn't actually get a lot of the adhesive on that edge, okay? So we have some edges that are more broken than others. Okay, I have this one area here. Okay, I'm just going to pull that off. Okay. It worked. It just took forever. Okay, now the other thing I want to do is I'm going to grab my scrub brush, okay? Because remember, I wanted that broken edge, okay? So I know that I did not put on a perfect edge, so I'm just going to scrape that away so that we have that rough edge. And the foil that's not stuck, because there really was not much adhesive, it's just coming off. So then we will have that imperfect weathered look that I want. Wow, this is going to be so cool. So all of this flaking, okay, I'm going to go and shake this outside. I don't want to shake it inside the coach. But this is truly going to be so awesome. And now if you want it a more perfect look, you could even tape a nice square, okay? But the two things that I would do ahead of time, if you want my imperfect look with the rough edge all the way around, because it just kind of looks like the design faded away, okay? Which is really, really what I was hoping for, and this came out pretty darn cool. But my tips for the day, definitely make sure, sorry about that guys, make sure you have repositionable spray adhesive on hand. Grab yourself a smooth piece of cardboard, big enough for the area that you need the shirt to stick to, okay? And you're gonna put this on the cardboard. You're gonna let the cardboard tack up, and then you'll be able to smooth the fabric over the cardboard and it will stick. So when you go to brush, your fabric's not going to be moving like mine did. Okay, mine was moving all over the place and was very, very challenging. Okay, so like I said, I don't want to shake this off here in the coach. I'm going to have to go do that outside, but I will definitely get you guys. Let me go ahead and I'm just going to take you off the tripod, okay, because this way I can flip around, okay, and I can take a way better video for you. I'm going to step up. I'm going to get a nice close-up of how this looks. You're going to see all the dust, okay? That's my foil dust from scraping away that edge, but my edge now is just like frayed, like fabric frayed, and just going to not worry about having to figure out making a perfect square. I really, really love how that turned out. Okay, so we're going to have a nice panel on the back. I think that's all I'm going to do with it. Now, if you wanted to, you could possibly even paint around the edge. You could do some freehand artwork and just do a whole bunch of embellishing. But I think I just like my weathered looking edge, and I'm hoping I'm getting a nice good close-up for you guys so you can see how that turned out. And yes, I've incorporated two different foils. We have willow up here on the shoulder. It's on the front where the buttons go, the little pocket there, and then Portia is adorning the entire back. So that's it, guys. That came out super cute, even though I was on a major struggle bus with my iron, but I think we're going to be buying something new. So if I missed any questions or comments, you guys, I'll go back and answer those in a little bit. I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope you have a fabulous Friday night and weekend, and we'll see you soon. Thanks for joining me, guys.